Okay, let's admit everybody to Teach for LA. Here we go. It's going to take a second. Welcome, 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 everybody.
Welcome.
Hello.
We are letting everybody into Teach for LA opening session right now. Just give us a minute while everyone gets a chance to log in. We are at 100 people on right now on Monday, November 15th at 5:30 p.m. If you could please mute yourselves as you log in and join us, that would be outstanding. We are thrilled to see everybody here today. Please make sure right now you take a minute to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us your name, tell us your school, and tell us what are you most excited about for Teach for LA. My name is Renee Marshall, and we are absolutely thrilled to bring Teach for LA to everybody this week. Teach for LA is a fantastic conference. It is totally free. If you have any friends or colleagues that still want to join us, we're going to put our emails in the chat and you'll be able to just email us and we can let people in later this week. We're happy to be here and we are excited for an inclusive conference. So we are so thrilled that everybody's here right now. My name is Renee Marshall. I am an education consultant that works with El Camino College and the Los Angeles Regional Colleges through strong workforce funding. And I am so excited to be here today. I'm going to hand it over to my two other colleagues that are part of our conference committee planning team to introduce themselves. And I just want to give a shout out right now. I am so excited to see everybody and I'm so excited to see you in the chat. So thank you so much for introducing yourselves. Let's go ahead and hand it over to Megan Koplinsky.
Hi, everybody. So glad you're here. I see some friendly faces. Hello, welcome. My name is Megan Koplinsky. I get to teach education classes at Long Beach City College and run our teacher prep program. So great to see you all. Leah?
And hello, everyone. I'm Leah Martinez, and I see so many familiar faces here. It's so great to see you guys. And I'm also the teacher prep coordinator at Rio Hondo College. And of course, director for the CPTP program, which is a mentoring program and part of this team.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Megan and Leah. Now, before Leah tells us just a brief summary about kind of the origin of Teach for LA and where it came from, Megan wants to do a shout out to some of our groups that help us make this happen.
Absolutely. We want to thank the California Community College Chancellor's Office for their support of our teacher preparation programs across the state, and especially their support of the Strong Workforce programs. This conference is partially sponsored by our Strong Workforce Programs Award for the Teach Los Angeles Regional Collaborative, which we're a part of. And we've welcomed everyone across the state to this event. Know that we have friends coming in from all over. So we really thank CCCO for their support of teacher preparation, and Teach Los Angeles is funded until this June through their program, and we look forward to offering another of these conferences virtually in the spring.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Megan. And Leah, could you give us a little bit of history of Teach for LA and the Strong Workforce program and kind of where did this all start?
Yes, thank you, Renee. And again, good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Leah Martinez, teacher prep project manager for Rio Hondo College and a member of this Teach for LA team. I was the former lead for the Teach Los Angeles Regional Collaborative. We call it Teach LA for short, for 5 years. So tonight, I'd like to give you a brief background, as Renee said, on how Teach LA Collaborative started, which eventually led to the Teach for LA virtual workshop series conference. So Teach LA actually started about 6 years ago, back in 2016, when we received funding from the Strong Workforce Program regional allocation. It began as a consortium or organization of 11 community colleges in the Los Angeles region. Our main goal, of course, was to build and support teacher preparation programs in the LA region and nurture a diverse, well-qualified teaching workforce. So let me tell you the story of how Teach for LA started. So I remember it was a gloomy day. No, I'm just joking. But seriously, that was really the backdrop of how Teach for LA started, because we were at the start of the pandemic that transitioned everyone to online instruction and learning. So it did start with a gloomy scenario back in the spring of 2020. We had a dilemma because the face-to-face events that we had planned for the semester for our students were no longer possible. So Rio Hondo, for example, we were planning a week-long teacher appreciation week in May of 2020, but that plan totally went out in limbo when the pandemic happened. So I shared this with our members who turned out to have the same concerns as I did. So as the lead for the project at that time, I proposed to the group to combine all workshops and turn them into a month-long regional virtual conference. So there were some concerns at the beginning. We were worried that students and teachers were already going through a lot. So we may have maybe low attendance. And we were asking, how can we engage our students to participate when they already face so many struggles during the pandemic? And these were very legitimate concerns for sure. But despite those concerns, we decided it was worth a try. And this is truly the start of Teach for LA. And this is the why. We felt that even though we might not reach everyone, but we knew we needed to reach out and connect with our students and engage them, especially during those difficult times. So to make a long story short, we went for it. And the first virtual workshop series came about in the spring of 2020. And this was a story of how we transformed the crisis that was the pandemic into an opportunity to connect and engage our students. As you know, Albert Einstein said, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. So the feedback that we got from both students and teachers alike was priceless. And it made everything we did worth every sweat and every sleepless night. Ask Renee, she'll tell you. So before I end, let me tell you about one email that I received from a student who had a car accident and was going through deep depression during the pandemic. Her email said that she was at the point of losing hope until she came across the Teach for LA conference and started attending the sessions. She found a connection that she desperately needed and was fully energized and inspired and was so thankful for the workshops for getting her out of her depression. And this is one of the many reasons why we continue to offer you Teach for LA. And we hope that you will continue to come and be inspired and learn from the various offerings this event has to offer. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Leah. And I want to just share one thing that's going on with everybody. We are having a glitch with our Zoom account. It is maxing this meeting at 100 people right now. I don't know how to troubleshoot this while we are live. So if you have any colleagues or friends that are writing and saying they can't get in, we apologize. I actually got an extended account before our last conference for this exact reason. So I'm pretty frustrated that it's blocking us right now because I pay an extra $50 a month in order for that not to happen. So I'm so sorry, everybody. If, like I said, if you have anybody who is messaging you and says they can't get in, please tell them that we apologize, and we will try our best to fix it for later on this week for our next session. So fortunately, one thing that's important to note, we record almost everything that we do within Teach for LA. And I actually want to share with everybody in the chat right now, if you are interested in the recordings, we actually locate them in a couple different places. We have a Teach for LA, we have a Teach Los Angeles YouTube channel, and I put the link there. And then the larger group that Teach for LA is part of is called the California Community College Teacher Preparation Programs, CCCTPP. And we have the different recordings from past Teach for LA sessions, and actually Teach for the Bay is also on that website as well. So we put those in the chat. But again, if you have any colleagues who are having trouble getting in right now, I apologize for that. We try so hard to kind of plan for everything, but not, you can't always do it, unfortunately. So I also want to make sure that in the chat, everybody sees that we have the flip book for the conference that includes everything that's coming up for tomorrow. And then one other item in the chat also is, this is the form for the opportunity drawing that we're doing after our keynote session tonight. So, oh, that's a great idea, Claudia. Very good idea. I will try and troubleshoot and see if we can make that happen. Thank you so much. And if for some reason we can't, then maybe we can make it happen by Wednesday's larger section. So again, sorry about this, everybody. Thank you for your patience. And like I said, if you have any friends or colleagues that are trying to get in, just let them know we apologize. But
Renee,
yes,
I think, I'm sorry, hello, everybody. And I think we might be able, oh no, it keeps on, because I guess some people are dropping off. I'm thinking I'm letting people in, but some people are dropping off. Okay, never
yeah,
mind.
sorry about that. I'll try my best to fix it before tomorrow with the larger sessions. I apologize, everybody. And hopefully we can just get this recording up and posted as soon as possible. But before, I don't want you to worry, because guess what? We have got so much awesomeness planned over the next 48 hours. We have tried our best to create a conference that's going to be relevant if you're a future teacher, relevant if you're a current teacher, relevant if you are currently a professor or faculty or a future faculty. We really tried to create a schedule that is exactly what you are looking for. And by that, I mean that we literally take the survey from our previous conference. We look for all the places all the sessions that had the biggest, highest ratings, and then we look at what we were asked to bring that we didn't include in the last conference, and that's how we plan the next conference. So there were specific topics about equity and working with young children, and there were very specific things that people wanted over these next few days. And so we hope that we did a great job to bring it to everybody. So what do we have? Between Tuesday and Wednesday, we have 19 different workshops that are happening. In addition to the 19 workshops, we also have a bonus workshop happening on Thursday. We've got our colleagues at Cuesta College that are doing a partnership activity on Wednesday. We've got our colleagues from Long Beach. Megan, is it Long Beach City or is it CSU Long Beach?
CSU Long Beach.
Thank you. Thank you. Our colleagues from Cal State Long Beach on Thursday have a session that we can jump into if people are interested. We also wanted to make sure to tell you that the Road to Teaching Conference is coming up this Saturday. So there's so much good that's happening right now for anybody who's a teacher or planning to be a teacher. So we appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you check out the flip book that I just put in the chat a moment ago, so that way you can see everything that's happening. As of right now, we have almost 700 people registered for the conference, which is excellent. We're so appreciative for everybody to show up. We want to make sure that you know also, if we have to close registration, because that's just part of what we have to do. But we, in our last conference, we changed things up a little bit, and we hope that this is something that everybody likes. So we closed registration on Sunday. But guess what? If you have a friend or colleague that you know would like to join and they missed the close of registration, no problem at all. All we're going to ask you to do is shoot an email over to me. I just put my email in the chat right there, education@reneemarshall.com. We will add anybody who would like to be added to the conference. We are an inclusive group. The last conference we had, we actually continued to add people over the course of the whole conference, and we had another 100 people join us. So we decided that it's hard to do, but we are definitely going to do it. I wanted to let everybody know that some of the sessions we have most of the sessions are created for future and current teachers, but there are some sessions that are specifically created for people who are faculty or who want to be faculty in the college. So make sure that you read the descriptions really closely to see that the sessions that you're going to are going to match your expectations. I also wanted to make a note too. In the booklet, in our flip book, the schedule for the conference, you will notice that certain sessions are marked with the phrase, "Session is presented by a credentialed teacher." Now, it might seem kind of strange that we do that, but the reason why, the rationale for that is we have many students who are in intro to teaching right now that requires fieldwork hours. And fieldwork hours need to usually be with a credentialed teacher. And since we're still primarily in the virtual space with our fieldwork classes, we tried to create workshops that could also be used for the EDU Intro to Teaching class. So we hope everybody finds it effective. So what do we have in store? We've got so much in store. First off, we heard you. We know that you love panels. That was something that came out loud and clear from our last Teach for LA. So we're bringing them. We've got a student panel coming up tomorrow night. We've got a special education panel with leaders from the field of special education. That's going to be facilitated by Doug from Mount SAC. It's going to be awesome. We also have a teacher panel coming up during this conference. That's going to be facilitated by our own Megan Koplinsky. Another thing too, I think those of you that have been to past Teach for LAs know, and those of you that are new, this is good for you to know, we like to give goodies away. So what we do within each of our conferences is we do an opportunity drawing, which is everybody gets their name in who's here tonight, and you have to be present when we do it. It's going to happen right after our keynote. But all you need to do is plunk your name into that form I just put in the chat, and it's going to ask you a couple basic questions, and we're going to give some goodies away. At the end of our session tonight, we're going to give away 5 different opportunity prizes, which I'm super excited about. But I have to say also, on our closing session on Wednesday night, we'll be giving out over 10 different opportunity drawing prizes. So we really want to make it fun and upbeat, and we hope that, we really want to make it a really good conference. And I have to be honest, it's not like we have this whole pocket of extra funding to do the opportunity drawing. Basically, what we do is all of the professors from the regional Los Angeles colleges, plus all the presenters that are presenting for you at this conference, many of them chip in their own money in order for us to buy items for the opportunity drawing. So I'm so thankful to all the people that do that, because I know it takes a lot to put on a conference, and we really, really appreciate, your gift cards and movie tickets and campus goodies and just everything that you did to make this happen. So we are almost up to our keynote. I've got a little bit more of some housekeeping before we have Miss Arellano come and speak with us tonight. And those of you who've had the chance to see Professor Arellano speak, you can confirm we are absolutely going to be inspired. Yadira is a great, great speaker. So thrilled that she's here tonight. So here's what's important to know. What you get out of Teach for LA is up to you. We literally put together a conference, back to back to back to back opportunities. We know people work. We know people are parents. We know we know it's a busy time of the semester. That's one of the reasons why we try to record as much as possible and get it up online as fast as possible too. But we also know that many of you have some flexibility. Maybe you can pop in here or there during your schedule. And that's exactly what we're hoping that you're going to do. First off, tomorrow is going to be a robust day. For anybody who's got availability, please join us on the adventure. First off, we're starting the day with one of our colleagues from Cuesta College who's going to talk about transformative teaching, the what, how, and why of culturally sustaining pedagogies. Dr. Wren from Cuesta College is a leader in the field of education and teacher preparation. And when we're having conversations of equity, Rosemary is somebody who we want to be listening to and want to be talking with. Another session that's happening tomorrow is what's this CPTP everybody's talking about? Now, CPTP is a project that 3 of the Los Angeles colleges have going on where it's pairing future teachers with mentors and teachers in the field. And we're really seeing some really exciting things about the impact it makes to have a structured mentor in your life in terms of finishing teacher preparation. So we're excited for that session. And that'll be held with our colleagues from the Center for Collaborative Education. I also mentioned this just briefly, but tomorrow there is a special education panel. It's going to be facilitated by Doug from Mount SAC. If you are somebody who is considering special education or in the field of special education, I want to let you know that right now that's probably the #1 needed area in TK through 12 education. It also is an area where there's all sorts of different financial incentives to help you along the way. So if special ed is something you've thought about, come and check out the panel tomorrow and see if it's right for you. I also want to mention that we have a presentation coming tomorrow from Kathleen White from San Francisco City College and Kate Brown. Now, Kate Brown is interesting because she is absolutely at a college, but she also is our community college early childhood representative for the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. So tomorrow, Kate and Kathleen are going to be talking about permits, credentials, and the ECE specialist credential. And I want to give a shout out to Kathleen and Kate because they are leaders in the state, and the fact that they're coming to help us at Teach for LA is awesome. Please go to that session if that is something that would interest you. If early childhood interests you or teaching TK to like 3rd or 4th grade interests you, check it out for sure. After that, we also have Los Angeles Mission College coming in with Cal State Northridge to talk about transfer, teacher prep programs. Now, guess what? If you're not planning to go to Cal State Northridge, that session will still be relevant for you, because if you plan to transfer, it's really good to have an idea about CSUs and where you might end up and whatnot. And so check it out if you have that chance. We also have a session tomorrow on technology in the elementary classroom. And I think this one's going to be especially relevant with, everything that's gone on during the pandemic. I really think that's important, and it's just something to know. I love it. I already see Marcella put special education is my passion. I love it. That makes me very, very happy. I had a question in the chat that came to me privately that says, how do we get into the sessions? And so what's going to happen is everybody who's registered, I've already sent you the links for tomorrow. If you didn't receive them for some reason, that means that there's a glitch on your email on the Eventbrite when you submitted it. Not a big deal at all. Just email me once you get off of the conference tonight, and I will be happy to make sure that we get you all those connections for tomorrow. So it's going to be a busy and awesome week. But with that, I want to do an introduction of our keynote. And I have to tell you, I didn't even mention what's coming on Wednesday at this point. At that point, this is only Tuesday. So it's going to be a great, great, great week. And I love to hear what people are interested in. So thank you to those who are sharing that in the chat. That's really exciting for all of us. Now, with that, I'd like to introduce our keynote tonight. Our keynote is a very, very special person. I'm going to read her bio because that's the formal thing to do. But before I read her bio, I just want to say we are blessed to be able to listen to Yadira Arellano tonight. Yadira is a leader in teacher preparation. She's a colleague, she's a friend, she's somebody who's always willing to do what's right and what's best for our students. And she's somebody who I highly respect in the field of education. Yadira Arellano has been a child development faculty for 9 years. She has taught dual enrollment for 3 community colleges serving 4 high schools. Having served approximately 160 high school students, Yadira brings a wealth of experience teaching college courses in high school settings. She's a first-generation graduate and was an AB 540 student while attending East Los Angeles College. Yadira's background as a non-traditional student has helped her connect with her students and motivate them to continue their education. Yadira is an experienced presenter with a demonstrated history of working in education management. She's skilled in research, adult ed, staff development, teaching. Yadira has a bachelor's degree in child development from the University of Laverne. She has a master's degree in child development, family studies, and related services from Pacific Oaks College. Yadira serves as the lead of the CPTP program at El Camino College, and that's the Community Partnerships for Teacher Preparation program at El Camino College. And she is also the Strong Workforce Program Los Angeles Regional Consortium Teach Lead. Let us welcome Yadira Arellano.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Renee, for that introduction. I always feel super special when Renee introduces me. I always tell her she's the Oprah of education, and I just feel so just special anytime that she says my name. But I thank you so much, Renee, for that introduction. And I want to welcome everybody to the Teach LA conference. We are super excited to have you, and I need to give credit where credit is due. I know that Renee doesn't like to fanfare what she does very often, but this conference would not be available and it wouldn't have happened without the help and support of Renee. Renee says that I am the lead of the LA Regional, and I want to let everybody know I am one person who likes to give credit to where the credit is due. And Renee has worked diligently endless days to put this conference together along with Leah and Megan. So a round of applause to them, because we wouldn't have this conference if it wasn't for them, quite frankly. So thank you so much to all 3 of you. They're good friends of mine and colleagues, and I absolutely love them. But as you all know, if you've had me as a professor, you probably know me and you know a little bit chunks of my story. I was asked by the region to speak today, and I first initially said, oh man, like, do you really want me to speak? Because I do like to speak, but there's a lot of things in my story that are really gripping that I really don't like to talk about, because it's something that I went through and it was hard for me. With that said, I practiced very hard this time, you guys. And so what I wanted to really open up this conference, and I wanted, because we're talking about the teaching profession, this is Teach for LA. And I thought to myself, what can I possibly tell you? about teaching, because I am in the profession. And I know all of you guys that you guys are here, you guys are probably taking an education course, you're thinking about becoming a teacher. And I thought, okay, you guys have to hear my story, and I got to tell you how it's going to be. So I'm going to share with you my story, and let me share my screen with all of you. I am a professor and I had to do a PowerPoint because that's just what I have to do. But really my story began in when I came to the United States. This is little Yadira, okay? And this is me with my son, Omar Lopez. And so my story began, I wanna say in 1987 or 1988, around that time, roughly. This is my family. I came from Jalisco. I'm from Guadalajara, Jalisco. I am Mexican. I was born in Guadalajara. And this is my mother, Araceli. She was a single mother. She came as an undocumented person to the US. And when she came in 1987, she had left me in Guadalajara because I was born in 83. She had left me in Guadalajara. She came to the US to find a better living, to find a better life. Just like maybe some of you guys can resonate with that, or your parents. So I was a first generation student here. So she came here to the US. After many years, I had 4 brothers and sisters. But what ended up happening is that in 1990, my father, left us. My mom was abused. She was in a domestic abuse household. And I still remember my father, hitting my mother. Those are things that I now that I think about it, and now that I'm an adult, and because of my career, I've learned to bypass that. But there was a lot of trauma in my life as a child that now that I think about it and I see you guys in my classroom, I think, wow, like I see you guys and I see myself in you guys, because you guys are sitting there and I see myself. So that was me. I came to the US. I was about, I want to say, 2nd grade or 1st grade, coming into 1st grade. And when I came to the US, we lived in a garage. We didn't even have an apartment because, we didn't have money. So we lived in a garage with my brothers and sisters. And I can tell you right now that I didn't really have a childhood because my job was really to help my mom. I was the oldest. And so I ended up becoming sort of, the older sister, but more like a mom. So I had to help my brother who was in diapers. His name is Neftali. And then my other sister, Erica, who she was in diapers as well. She was about 9 months. And so it was all 3 of us. My mother worked 2 jobs. She worked as a waitress and she worked all night. So I stood, I'm telling you, this is an 8-year-old Yadira. I stood with my brothers and sisters at night when my mom went to work by ourselves. Now that I think about it, and maybe you guys are hearing it, I cringe because I cannot fathom thinking leaving my son, who is 10, by himself. But again, these are the things that my mom had to go through, right? Because this was the life, we didn't have any other support. So I sort of managed and I kind of became my brother's mom. My mom was working. Now, as we go on, I really, why I'm telling you this and why I'm letting you know is because these are the things that made me who I am. These things that happened to me in my life, I have a big belief that there was a purpose for all of this. There's a purpose for all of you here. There's a purpose for us going through what we go through in our lives. And I think for me, now that I sit here and I think about it, I needed to go through that because I was going to be able to come, sit here, talk to you, and in some way, get to reach you. Because how many of our students go through this? How many of you have gone through this? And you find yourself and you see yourself and you don't think you're going to make it out. So that was me. A lot affected me. I think I want to say one of the biggest things that really affected me was my culture. I am Mexican, and like I said, it's my culture. And in our culture, there's a lot of belief that you're a woman, so calladita te ves más bonita, which is, just be quiet and you look very pretty, just being quiet. And that's a culture we grew up with. At least I grew up like that. And every time that I spoke my mind, my mom would tell me, why are you asking? Why do you keep saying that? You're being rude. And I always had this in me where when I felt something wasn't fair, I questioned it. When I felt that my mom was being questioned when she didn't know the language, I questioned it. I stood up for her. I remember going to the social service office in Olympic on LA. I don't know if you guys know where the social service office is, right there on Olympic by the old Sears. And I remember standing outside because my mom was going to go in to ask for food stamps. At this point, we needed the help. And I sat there in the social worker's office, and I clearly remember the social worker telling my mom why she didn't speak English. And she had 4 kids. And so it was about time that she spoke English because she was asking for help. I want to say maybe at that time I was 10 years old. And I remember feeling this anger in my stomach. And I remember telling the social worker, why are you talking to my mom like that? And she looked at me and she told me, your mom is here for help. And so if she needs the help, she needs to learn how to speak English. And I never forget that because I sit here now and I think about all these things and it's still happening. And so I took that in, I took that anger in, and it motivated me. I always thought to myself, I'm never, ever going to be poor like I was when I was younger. And that, honestly, I want to tell you that all that trauma, all that suffering, it's what motivated me because I said to myself, I will never, ever be living the way that we're living. And that kept me going. So throughout my education, I went into elementary. They failed me in first grade. I failed as a first grade. They kept me back because when I came to the US, I could not read English. I'm 8 years old. I'm coming from Mexico. I've spoken Spanish all my life, and I was tested in all English. And of course I didn't pass because I've never been here. Long story short, this is where where I always become passionate about teachers. I had a teacher that I always remember, and his name is Mr. Guerrero. And he was the one teacher who spoke and advocated for me. He was a teacher who said, Yadira, you know how to read, you just don't know how to read in our language, and we're going to show you. And because of Mr. Guerrero, it is that I was able to, that was passed on to second grade, and I was able to continue my education. I also went into high school as an undocumented student. You know, at that point, I was working. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but if you're not, I used to work at Linwood Swap Meet. That's in Linwood. And I used to work for $35 a day. That was from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I was winning $35 a day. And I used to sell pots. And I remember going on the bus. It took me 3 buses to get to work. And always remember that I didn't want to live like this. And I remember going on the bus and driving and thinking to myself, I will never, ever be working like this. And that really motivated me. You know, I think about us now and I think about all of you guys. And I think the statistics and our system is made so that you can fail. It's not made for you. You are a statistic, like I was a statistic. The statistics in 1990 at a high school were 1 million women between the ages of 15 to 19 were pregnant. That was my statistic. I was in high school during that time. I was not that statistic. I was expected to have children and not graduate high school. And I was expected to work in low-income jobs and stay in the community where I was raised. Now, I cannot sit here and tell you that it was easy because it was not. But I'm going to sit here and I am going to tell you that I defined that and I overcame the statistics because I refuse to sit there and be another statistic. I didn't have the support that I needed. For example, my mom has an elementary education. She went to school till second grade. My father wasn't in the picture. I didn't have any models to tell me, you're going to go to school, you're going to go to college, and you're going to apply. And I think now what really, really motivated me and what kept me going was that anger from sitting at the social worker's office and being told I was poor. And so I kept on pushing and I kept on working harder. I want to say, when I graduated high school, I was told by one of the counselors that college was not for me. I was told that I should sign up for Cynthia's Beauty Academy. I went to Bell High School. I graduated in the 90s. And I don't want to tell you the year because then you're going to know how old I am. But I graduated in the 90s. And back then, It wasn't CTE. We didn't have CTE back then. It was more of like a technical career, but it wasn't as big. And it was mainly, CTE was made for students who were not doing good at school. And I was told that instead of applying for college, this is about high school counselor, that I should look into going to Cynthia's Beauty Academy. I remember sitting there and telling her I didn't want to be a cosmetologist. I told her I actually want to be a scientist, or I want to go into science or chemistry. I said, or maybe teaching. And she looked at me and she said, but you don't have papers. You're not going to be able to apply. I took that and I took it to heart, okay? Because I'm undocumented and I was already working, getting paid cash. And I started thinking, well, maybe she's right. Maybe, maybe I shouldn't even go to college. I was going home that day and I remember clearly looking at I think it was a newspaper, and it's something about go to college, East LA College, apply now, or, are you a low income student or something like that. And when I saw that, it motivated me so much. I went and I applied to East LA College. When I applied because of the syndrome, because it was East LA College, I didn't really want to say I was going there. But once I did apply, it completely changed me. Now I'm going to tell you why it changed me, because East LA College is one of the California's community college system. And the reason why it helped me so much was because I can identify myself with the college. Everybody there was Latino, Mexican, but there was so much support for the students. And that's where I really fit in. So I go to East LA College, everybody. Now I'm talking about, I'm paying, okay, back then it was $9.49. $9.49 a unit. Now, but mind you, back then the minimum wage was $4.25. So can you imagine? I had to work 2 hours, 3 hours to make sure I paid that one unit. So here I am, Professor Arellano, I'm at East LA College, and it took me, I want to say close to 7 years to finish my associate's degree. I am not ashamed to say it because I know some of you are in the same boat. Some of you have been going to college for 3 years. You will get there. Now, let me tell you what happened and how is it that it became something that kind of moved me. What ended up happening is that I found mentors. I found teachers. I started looking into the college like I belonged there. I found teachers that mentored me, and even to this day, I still keep in contact with them. I have a couple of professors that were my professors at college. Some of them being Julie Benavides was one of my professors. She was phenomenal. I learned a lot from her. I got so inspired. I had Maria Rivas, who was also at East LA College, and she was phenomenal. She's one of my mentors, and I still connect with her. Elvia Barajas, who is also at East LA College. I started getting involved in the college. I started feeling like I belonged. And little did I know that mentoring, was going to help me achieve my goal. There was no DACA at that time. I want to let you guys know. AB 540 was just the thing. It was just coming about. There was no DACA. We didn't have like a student for equal rights yet. We didn't have a lot of the programs that we have now in place. And so, but I still started getting involved. I became part of the Child Development Club. I became the president of the Advocates for Children's at East Los Angeles College. And because of that communication, because of that enrollment, and because of that making myself belong, I was able to finish my college degree. I graduated from East LA College with a child development degree. And I stood on that stage, and to see my mom's face, she couldn't believe it. This is Araceli, which is my mom's name, talking to me and telling me, I never thought that you were going to graduate high school. To hear that from my mother really impacted me, because it's not that our parents don't want to be there, and it's not that they don't want to support us. You got to remember, they only had second grade level education. So for them to see us come this far, it's something that she couldn't even believe. Fast forward to that, I went directly into my bachelor's program at University of Laverne. And that's where I got my bachelor's degree. I went in, and again, I started without papers. I was paying a lot of money, and I was, working a lot. It was in that year that I was able to fix my immigration status. And I am so blessed and thankful that that happened because I was able to get school loans. Now, I want to let you guys know that do not let anybody tell you you cannot finish your education because of financial needs. I'm sitting here with you and I'm letting you know, and I think those colleagues that know me, I didn't come from money. I had nothing going for me. Again, I was the statistic that I was supposed to be pregnant. I was supposed to live in a low-income community and I was not going to graduate. I went ahead and I financed my education because that was the only way for me to go to school. And I am very proud to say it. Yes, I owe a lot of money. Yes, I am in debt in the California system. If you ask me, I owe probably half of my eye and my arm because I'm going to do my doctorate. But it is the best investment I've made in my life. Okay, it is because of this investment that I'm able to sit here and talk to you and be a professor and hopefully kind of give you a little inspiration to continue your education. It is because of my dedication, my hard work, and my failures that make me who I am today. I graduated from University of Laverne with my bachelor's degrees in child development, and I was fired. I was so motivated because I started seeing the need in my community and I started seeing everything that was happening around me. Now, I want you to know that at this point of my life, I had a lot of failures. Everything wasn't perfect, okay? I had family issues going on. I was already married and I was having issues in my marriage and I came out pregnant with my son, Omar. And I felt like the world was ending with me because, you know, I was so motivated, I was doing things. And I started thinking back about everything that, you know, everything that I've gone through to make it to where I was, and I couldn't give up. And this is where I want to tell you guys, I am not here because I was perfect. I am not here because I was smart. I am not here because I had money. I was here because of all the opposite things. I was here because you're here. I was here because I didn't have anybody to guide me. I'm here because I wanted to get out of that statistic that I was supposed to be in. I'm here because I had a lot of failures, and my failures make me who I am today. It made me strong. It made me, you know, start to look at things differently. I used to think like, you know, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. There's other students who are smarter than me. I used to see students who would write their papers and they would get it back with an A+. And I would turn in my papers and I would get it back with a fail. I didn't go as high in my writing. My writing, I probably got a C. Again, I'm struggling to write as a college student in a university, but I'm also a second language learner. So that was hard for me. Writing was one of the hardest things for me. But I stood there and I stood there amongst all these people who were supposed to make it. I stood there amongst all these traditional students who come from money, who have both parents who were educated, whose parents have a career, whose parents motivated them. And I sat there next to them thinking to myself, I'm not supposed to be here. So this imposter syndrome that you might feel or that you're gonna feel, I'm gonna tell you right now, you grab it and you take it with you. It's not gonna leave you. I'm sitting here with you today and I'm letting you know that I've had instances in meetings where I sit there and I feel that I'm holding to this imposter syndrome, and there's times that I can't let it go because I feel that other people are better than me. But it's normal, and you know why? Because we didn't have anybody to motivate us. We had to figure things out on our own. And so yes, we're gonna feel like we don't belong there. This is a quote that I really, really like, and I share it with some of my students. And this is, I got this from, I don't know if you guys know Renee Brown, and I am a complete fan of her. And I share it in class sometimes. Renee Brown is somebody that I really follow, and I love all her books. I've read almost all of them. The last one I read was called Daring Greatly. And the reason why I like to read her books is because she reminds me of the person that I am. And there's a quote in her books that she really emphasizes in, and this is the man in the arena. If you haven't read this before, I'm going to read it for you because I want you to listen to it and I want it to resonate with you. This is The Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt, and he did this in a speech he gave in 1910. It says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strikes valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end of the triumph of a high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. By Theodore Roosevelt. And so take this because you are in the arena right now. All of you right now are in the arena. You're fighting a battle that only you know. Now, when I sit with my students and in my classes, and if you've had me before, you know that my classes are not your typical professor class, okay? I refuse to have a class where my students don't feel welcome, where my students are not able to share. Because I've been in those classes. I've had those instructors. And guess what? Now I have the authority. It is my classroom and I will teach it how I feel best and how I know you're gonna learn. And so I say this so that you know that I see you. I've been there. And so to all my students who have me, you know, I'm so passionate about education because I see myself in you. I see the struggle. I see how you can't make it to class. I see how you have your baby on one arm and your other kids on the background. I hear them. I hear you when you get pissed off that you work so hard on a project and not everybody worked as hard as you. I see when you have to go to work and you have to be on my class Zooms while you're working. I see you. And I want you to know that I validate you. You are where you need to be. And I say this so that you feel motivated to continue to do what you're doing. So if I made it and if I'm here, then you definitely can be here and you belong here. With that said, I want to share with you some of my triumphs that are close to my heart. I am part of the education pathway at El Camino College. I'm the lead faculty who has the education pathway. And these students right here that you see, and I think some of them are already at El Camino College and getting ready to transfer. This was my first cohort of students in the education pathway. These students started with me when they were sophomore students, okay? So they started with me and they are now transferring to university and I couldn't be prouder of them. One person here, and I don't know if she's here, but this is Uni. And Uni Carranza started with me as a sophomore student, and she is now getting ready to transfer. She's part of our CPTP program, but I'm very proud of her because she is a first generation student, and just like me, she didn't know what she was gonna do. So these are just some of the things that I've done so far that I want to share with you that are really special to me. So the education pathway is kind of like my baby. I absolutely, anything that has to do with motivating you, getting you to where you need to be at without any struggles, I will be there. I will be your advocate. I will always advocate for you. This here in the middle is the dream team, okay? And these are only some of the dream teams. This is not everybody. These are my coworkers and my really dear friends and mentors, everything that you can see. This is Bobby Becca. This is Michael Wickard from San Diego. And this is Cynthia McFarland. She is our, I don't know what her title is chancellor. She works at the chancellor's office. And of course, Renee, you know, Renee Marshall. But again, these are only people that we're all advocating for you. This is us at Sacramento making sure that teacher prep program is seen. We always want to make sure that you're seen, that your program is out there and that you get the support that you need. And the last picture here is some of my students from Teach El Camino that traveled with me to the conference at Sacramento that we had. I was able to take a couple of students, thankfully because of the funding that we had. And I want to share a little bit of their stories. I don't know if they're here, but this is Samuel, and Samuel was a student of mine. who took my class because he needed the credits. How many of you here have taken Child Development 103 or 101 because you need the credits? And Samuel was one of them. You know, I had a lot of students. And what ended up happening is that Samuel really, really enjoyed my classes. And he took the next class after 103. He went into the fire program. I think right now he was trying to apply to become a professor in the fire technology program at El Camino College. So, you know, when you do your job, like you love it, because I love my job, you get to work with all these people, you inspire people, and it never feels like a job to me. It honestly feels like it's part of me, it's part of who I am, and it's part of what I have to do. So that's Samuel. This is Kenya, she is a teacher at Long Beach Community College District. This is, I can't spell her name, but she was one of my, Huey, I'm sorry, I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, but she was one of my students. I absolutely loved her. She was thinking of becoming a teacher, and she was working as an airline hostess. And this is Jasmine, and I know that Jasmine went on to become a teacher, but these were all my students at El Camino College. And so that was my presentation. And really what I want to leave you with is never, never, never feel like you're not going to make it, because you will make it. And like I said, again, remember that quote, you know, the man in the arena. You are in the arena right now. And it doesn't matter what anybody tells you. It doesn't matter what the statistics say to you. It doesn't matter that the system wasn't designed for you. You will succeed, because you have to have, you want to make it. You do not want to be the statistic. Find the motivation, find the mentors, and get your failures and really, really keep them in close to you, because your failures are not a failure. They're an education. They're a lesson that you're learning. And I want to say, you know, to me right now, if you ask me, you know, what is something that you've done or the biggest lesson that you've had right now in education? And I'm going to tell you that one of the biggest lessons that I've had and that I really had to learn, and I have to look at it as a lesson, and I'm going to be, you know, human with you. And I think it's my divorce. I divorced my son's father. I want to say maybe like it's going to be 5 years now. But if you were to ask me this 7 years ago, I would have told you that I would never get out of that marriage, because I didn't have a dad. I couldn't bring myself to break my family like that. And again, culture played a big role on it. And I wanted to make things work so bad because I didn't want to repeat the story with my son. But as I'm sitting here with you today, and as I recaptured and I was thinking about this presentation, and I wanted to talk about your failures, I thought about mine. And I think that is one of the biggest ones I've had so far in my life. But I look at it now and I see it's a lesson. It's a lesson to learn how to work with other people, how to be okay and have grace with yourself, how to let go of guilt, and how to speak up and say when you're not happy. It is going to be a hard one. All of you are going to face something in your life where you're going to feel like you're not going to be able to handle this. But I'm going to tell you right now, everything you go through, there's a purpose for it. There's a lesson to be learned. And it is because you're supposed to learn from it. And to me, one of the biggest lessons this divorce left me was that I needed to have grace, and I needed to allow myself to be happy and speak up and put myself first for the first time. It wasn't easy. I heard a lot of people in the making, and one of the ones who I heard was my son. But I have to learn that in order for my son to be happy, he has to see me happy. And so I leave this with you so that you can look at your life, look at your failures, look at everything you've been through, and really savor it, because this is what's going to motivate you and what's going to put you out there. So I don't know if I have enough time or if I went over time. I think I'm done. But if you guys, I don't know if you guys want to ask me anything, or do we have time, Renee?
Yadira, I think we should take the time, honestly, because I'm looking at the chat and people are not only messaging like publicly, but I'm also having private comments that are being said as well. What you've said is impacting all of us right now. I think about my own journey too. First of all, let go of guilt. As somebody who has already had a tech glitch with a major conference, I've been completely guilting the whole time since I realized we maxed at 100 and like trying to email and troubleshoot while you were speaking and whatnot. And I just appreciate you saying that, letting go of guilt, because I think a lot of us live in guilt, especially if you're in a family where guilt is part of the family culture. And that was part of my family culture. So I appreciate you saying that. Do we have a couple questions or comments for Yadira?
Yes.
Excellent. Go for it, David.
What do you mean by pot? Because I'm making sure, is it the drug one or the one for cooking?
What do you talk? I'm sorry, David, what are you talking about?
What you told us in our story about pot, is it the one for cooking or is it the drug one?
I don't remember
what reference that was.
Yeah, pot. It could be that I missaid it, or I do have an accent.
Oh, you sold pots at the swap meet.
Oh,
she was totally, cooking pots. That was before marijuana was legalized in California. So
okay, just because I that word, it sounds like a drug word.
You know what, David, I appreciate
that. Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that, because, you know, one of the things that's interesting is in the field of education, if, like, for instance, if you don't want to come into the field if you really love pot. And I know that might sound weird, and I'm not saying that to you, David, by any means, but I appreciate you bringing it up, because even though some things are legal in our society, there are certain career pathways where things are frowned down upon, and sometimes you still have to be drug tested. And so I appreciate you mentioning this and asking for the clarification.
Yeah, and are you going to send us that PowerPoint so we can keep it?
Yeah, Yadira, is it possible that we can? Excellent. We'll email it out then.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, David, for you know, I love that you asked that question, that you didn't stay with it and you just didn't like let it go. And that's exactly what I mean. You know, your classes should be where you're able to ask these questions, where you don't feel like you can ask anything. And absolutely, David. So thank you for asking that so that I can clarify. Yes.
Yeah, and also send us the certificates because I need it for next Wednesday.
David, the certificates we're doing at the end of the conference this time. And so if you need it right away, you need to let me know. I'm going to send it out on Wednesday to everybody with the form where they fill out one time instead of filling out for individual.
Yeah, because I might not attend all meetings since I have.
That's not a problem. Yeah, not a problem at all. We don't anticipate that everybody attends everything. You just can choose what works for you.
Yeah, it's because I'm trying to avoid time conflicts.
Good for you. Time management is one of the biggest challenges of educators. Good for you for thinking of that ahead of time.
Thank you.
Of course, Yadira, I see some great things in chat here too. Sure. I'm noticing that people are making comments about, thank you for validating those of us who were deemed, quote, failures, you know, in the school. We didn't get enough of that. And that means a lot to hear from a successful person like yourself. Thank you.
Oh my God, that's just amazing. And I do want to say it. I've been seeing the chat. I couldn't see it because I was talking, and I wanted to be professional this time because last time I got emotional. It was a little bit of Mother's Day and I kind of got to me, but what I am seeing now, and I want to let you know, is that yeah, it's exactly that. It's owning and really believing in yourself. You know, don't allow other people to put that faith in you. And that's one of the biggest things that I've discovered. You know, if you are religious or have faith, because I do, I really, you know, when I'm going to go out into the field, just because I'm a professor does not mean that I'm not scared. That doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes. It doesn't mean that. It just means I have a title because I studied for it and because I do this as a job and because I love it, but I'm also human. And I always give that grace to my students. And so sometimes it's not always like that, but know that you don't give that to anybody. You own that. You do not give the authority to make other people allow other people to make you feel a certain way. Take that and own it. It is you have the power to allow people to make you feel a certain way. It took me a long time to realize that. And I'm talking to you now after so many tears, failures, feeling inadequate, feeling like I didn't belong. But I'm telling you now, I've taken that power back. I've taken it back and I've sat with it. Although it made me uncomfortable, I've sat with it. And it made me uncomfortable because I'm going to tell you why. Because we were not taught to be accepted. We were not taught to speak up for ourselves. We were not taught to belong somewhere, because everything around us, the community and society, has made it seem like you didn't belong there. But that is not true. You hold that power. And so as I see the chat, I want you to take that power. You are a student, and it is because of you that I have a job, that Renee is able to work with us, that Leah has a job, that Megan is working with us. It is you. So take that power back, take it back and own it. And yes, you need to sit in classes and you need to listen, and you're going to have to do work. I'm not sitting here telling you it's going to be easy, because it's not. Nothing is ever easy. And again, I'm going to take you back to the man in the arena. It's going to take blood and sweat from you. It will take it. You're going to have to sweat. You're going to have to work for it. I didn't get here. I didn't graduate, and by the miracle of God, and the next day I had a job. I don't even want to get into applying for jobs right now, but I'll do that on.
Don't worry, that'll be later this week, and we can help you with that.
Yeah, I'll do that on Wednesday, but it is not easy, you guys. This has been one of the hardest things I've done, but I'm doing it with so much pleasure because I know it's going to make a difference in you. I wish I had a program such as like TPP when I was going to school, that I was able to go to workshops and I was able to connect with a mentor, because I think that my 7 or 8 years of finishing my associate's degree, I would have finished them faster. I would have had that support. So absolutely, I see you all, and I'm so happy that you take it like you're feeling validated.
I love that, Yadira. There's so much that you had to say that was really gold here. And I think about how you talked about failures and how failures need to be reframed as like opportunities to learn.
Yes.
Or we think about our challenges and, just the different hard parts of our life. And sometimes they happen, and like when you were in the process of getting divorced, and you know what I mean? And like, is this the right thing for my son? I mean, I think about when I was a child and found my father passed away when I was 10 years old, and trying to understand this traumatic, lifelong kind of incident that happened. And then all of a sudden one day, and this is my own personal account, but having lost my dad when I was 10 years old and finding him after he had had a heart attack was awful as a kid. Fast forward 20 years later to me teaching 5th grade, and one of my students' dads was killed in jail while the kid was in my class. So it was awful what happened to me, but it was a lesson that I later got to use to help somebody else heal.
Yes.
By telling Raul, my student, Raul, my dad died when I was between 4th and 5th grade. And he looked at me and goes, I'm not alone. And I literally looked at him and I said, because at that time I was younger. Right now I'm almost 50. But I looked at him and I said, yeah, it happened to me 20 years ago. And you know what, Raul? I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
And so how wonderful to understand that those challenges are really about lessons, and that sometimes we realize, oh my gosh, it had another purpose.
It did. And I see the chat. So I'm so humbled by all of you. I really never share my story because it is traumatic. And I know that it's traumatic now after so many years of therapy. Believe me, it didn't really hit, or I couldn't put the words to it until now that I've been seeing a therapist to understand myself and understand all these blockages that I put myself in because of my trauma and my fear and wanting to control everything because of my childhood trauma. But, we all carry that. Renee, you carry your dad's, and it's guilt. It's guilt, it's trauma. I know a lot of our students go through that. I know I have a lot of you in my class. I see you, I feel you. I can sense you. And these things are lessons. I've realized that. I have to look at them like that, because if I don't look at them in that way, I can crumble down. And I don't want to do that. And so I see you guys in my classroom. I know a lot of students, and those of you who are here, I don't know if you're here, but when you share with me on I have an assignment. I don't know if my students hate me for this, but I have an assignment. It's called the autobiography assignment that was shared with me by Dr. Young at El Camino College. And it's her assignment and she shared with us, but it's one of those assignments that really grips you very, very hard. And I have you do that assignment because it gives me an insight into the type, into the type of student that I have in my class. It gives me an insight to your story. It lets me know your struggles, and it makes me human again. As a teacher, it allows me to see you with different perspective, and it allows me to see you as the human that you are and not just my student. And I know that this assignment, sometimes it hurts people or it brings up things that you don't want to talk about. And so I want to let you know I appreciate all of you. And so it is because of those stories that I'm grounded, that I teach with my heart in the classroom because I see you. And so take those things that happen to you as lessons, because that's what I've done. And I think that's the only reason why I was able to go through the system and, come out here as a professor, is because I didn't allow those failures to determine who I was going to be. But I took them as a lesson. What can I learn from them? What is this teaching me?
I think we're so quick to kind of push stuff on ourselves, and then you just keep stacking it on. What is wrong with me and what did I do wrong? And as opposed to saying the situation, it's I'm a part of it, but it's not all my doing. You know what I mean? And so how do I distance from it? I love it. Carrie just said, we are our worst enemy.
Yep.
And I think that is the truth. I do think that's the truth. Well, and that reminds me though, why we need friends, why we need colleagues, why we need spaces like this where we can come together, have conversations, you know what I mean? And stop and reflect on who we are and who we want to be.
Absolutely.
One of the things I always think of, Yadira, and this is something I'm going to say more and more, be the teacher you needed.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Be the teacher you needed. That's who we need to step up to be.
And Renee, right now that you said that, and I don't know if I have some of my students here, I think I do. Thank
Yes.
you. I'm seeing the chats. Thank you, all of you. I'm not responding because there's so many, but I appreciate you all. I'm reading all the chats. I will read them later. But for those of you who are in my class, and I think I get tired of saying it, you need to become the teacher, like Renee said, that you needed. Be that teacher that sees the students. And I say to my class all the time, you as a teacher have the power to make the student or to break the student down. You hold that power. Isn't that powerful that you hold that power? So how do you, and I tell this, to all of my students, you either going to teach with your head or you're going to teach with your heart. And so which one are you? Because there's a lot of teachers out there, right? That they teach with their head, but you're going to find very little teachers who teach with their heart. And when you teach with your heart, you completely become the best teacher the child has ever had. And so
or the adult. That was something that was shocking to me, Yadira, is I was a kindergarten and preschool teacher for years. I taught other grades also, but then I went to be a college instructor. I was shocked how the needs that we have in kindergarten were almost identical to the needs of my college students.
Yep. And we, and so, because you hold that important place. And I think to me, education is that. And I think I show it in my classes, and I hope, that I am transparent, and I hope that my students feel that they can tell me, Professor, I'm not understanding your lesson. I don't get it. I don't get it. You're talking about this, but I don't understand it. Because, I will never make you feel like you can't speak up in my class. I want to make sure that you feel that you're in an environment where your word is validated and where you matter. So all your opinions are validated. And going into the classroom, I knew that was a power I was holding, because I've had many professors. Did I have all the best professors? No, I did not. Did I have some professors that made my college career, my college education a little bit harder? Yes, I did. But I also had those teachers who made a difference in my life. And so I held down to them, and I still, like I told you today, I still have in contact with Maria Rivas. She's dear to me. There's so many teachers that I still connect with that I didn't let go, and I will not let go, because to me, they bring so much richness to my education and to my students. I had a teacher in my master's program, and her name is Graciela Italiano. And I'm telling you this, and I don't know if she'll ever see it, but I hope she does. I messaged her last week. When I was taking her class, I was taking mediation for adults, okay? And learning to solve problem solving for, it was a human development course. And I am sitting in this course, you guys, and I'm telling you that I sat there, and she looked at me one time and she told me, if you are not able to be okay with the person that you are, you will never be able to help somebody else. And it didn't click on me. And I thought to myself, what does she mean by that? Fast forward, 7 years now. And last week, as I was sitting in therapy and I was thinking about my failure lesson divorce, I understood what she meant. And she meant, be okay with Yadira, be okay with everything that she brings to the table. My failures, my faults, my guilt, so that I'm able to work and move on and help my son. Because if you're not okay with yourself and you don't accept yourself for who you are, you're going to be hard on yourself, and you're not allowing yourself to take in everything that you're learning. And so now I'm telling you, this is 7 years ago, and I messaged her last week because I sat there and I thought, oh my God, I understood what she meant. You will not be able to help somebody else until you accept the whole you. And a lot of times as students, we don't want to look. We look at ourselves and we think, oh, we're not good enough, or I'm not a good writer. Oh, I don't really read that good. People give you a compliment and you think, oh, it's okay, but I had to do this, right? Be okay with yourself. Learn to take that in. When people tell you, wow, you did a great job, do not go back and think about, yeah, it took me 5 papers to write it. Don't think about that. Take the compliment. Yes, I did a good job. You are good. You're meant to be here. And so those are the things that I'm learning. And I sat there and I thought, wow, to this point, I understood what Graciela was telling me.
Yadira, I feel like I need to do some mantras of like, I seriously think like I'm meant to be here. Because it's, you and I have had the opportunity to do advocacy in Sacramento. And I'll tell you, when you're doing things like that, you're literally driving into that meeting or flying into that meeting going, I can do this. I'm meant to be here. I wouldn't be invited if I wasn't able to. So I'm saying that because like all of us have that doubt. Don't let that doubt guide you. Just kind of throw it in the back seat and get your theme song, get your mantra, get whatever you need to get that confidence to do what you have to do. And I'm going to say something too. For many of you who are future teachers who are on right now, you might feel totally comfortable with children or teens and want nothing to do with parents. Those parents are going to be part of your lives too. So you have to think about now, what am I going to do to pump myself up? So if I go into a parent meeting, I'm going to knock it out just like I would when I was with my students, And so Yadira, you just said so much tonight that hit the nail on the head. You've inspired us all. I think everybody, let's give Yadira a round of applause. I love clapping in real time too. Fantastic work, fantastic. And I have to tell you, it's so exciting. We only have about 15 minutes before we wrap this session. We still have people, the moment somebody leaves, somebody else logs in. We have stayed at consistently 100 people tonight. And for those of you who are not able to get on, the moment we're done with this recording, we're going to try and get it posted and emailed out to everybody's stat, because we know that that was a source of frustration. And the last thing we want is for people to be frustrated at a conference. That's not what this is about.
and something.
Absolutely. I was going to say, anybody else? I'm sorry.
I was like here and like this.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm not come from here. I came to America like 10 years before. I don't know how to speak in English. It's so hard for me. And I feel what you feel in the before that you tell your story. And I'm gonna just tell you, you impact me too much when I hear all your story. And just I am gonna say to you, good for you, good job for you. And I I don't know. I learn a lot of things in a short time
Aw.
that tell about your life and your life story. And I'm gonna just admire you.
Thank you, Najeen. Thank you so much. I feel you. Thank you so much. I think that coming from a different country, not knowing the language is so hard because you want to say so many things, but you don't have the words to say it.
No, yes.
You have no idea how many times I've been in meetings where I want to say so many things and the words don't come to my mouth, but they're sitting here in my throat and I want to say them. And I think I get like that when I'm advocating for my students or when we're going to Sacramento or when we're doing presentations, where I want to let everybody know what we're doing wrong to get you guys where you need to be.
Yeah, that's why I try to understand whatever you see or like tell, because I'm not good in English, like fast, like speaking. And I take notes of whatever you said as much as I can. And Renee said, I'm so appreciate both of you. I enjoyed the whole meetings. And then I have one more question from Renee. Can you send us like any certificate for this meeting or whatever?
Absolutely. I actually am going to get into that in just a minute. So that was perfect timing. Why don't we get into that right now, Yadira, and then we can go straight into our opportunity drawing. Is that good?
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. Again, thank you so much for asking about the conference certificate. Here's how we're doing it this time. The last time we ran Teach for LA, we were doing it session by session and it was chaotic. I'm going to be honest, for those of us making the certificates. So what we're doing this time is at the very end of the conference, which is on Wednesday, we're going to shoot out a survey to everybody. And on the survey is going to be where you fill out if you want a certificate and where you want me to email it to. So, and then just so everybody knows, I have to go out of town on Thursday and Friday this week. I'm actually speaking at 2 different colleges on Friday in Central California. And so I probably will not be able to work on the certificates till this weekend until the start of next week. So if for some reason somebody needs it by a certain date, just shoot me an email so that way I'll get it to you as soon as I can. But it will take me some time to do them. But everybody will get a certificate who is interested in getting one.
Should I say a specific like meeting? I have to say like this today, like the times of the meeting?
I'm going to have it on the form. So that way you'll just have to check and let us know, and then we'll be good to go.
Okay.
You won't have to put everything. Absolutely. We're so thrilled that you are here.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I leave?
I wouldn't leave right now because we have about 10 more minutes and we're going to do 5 different prizes in just about 3 or 4 minutes. So if you can stay on a few more minutes, I absolutely should.
Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. So just a couple quick housekeeping, little more housekeeping pieces, just so everybody knows. If you have any friends or colleagues who want to join the conference, please have them email me directly at my email. Please do not share the Zoom links that we have sent to you. We do that for security purposes. And so we want to make sure that we have record of every single person that's going to be at the conference. So if you have anybody who'd like to join at this point, no problem. Just have them shoot me an email. I put my email in the chat there. I also wanted to say, I was going to do a reminder to please participate in the sessions this week, but I'm so, I was going to say, okay, if there's a Jamboard, participate, or if they say something, your presenter says something in chat, participate. But I am preaching to the choir. Because the activity that we've had in the chat tonight, this is what we want to see in every single section. We want to see conversation and us coming together in this space. So we want to encourage that as much as possible. Your participation is key to the success of Teach for LA. So whenever you're in a space where you can unmute or you can put something in the chat or you can have your camera open, please, please, please be with us, be present, and be engaged, because that's what this is all about. So we've got a lot coming up tomorrow, a lot coming up Wednesday. We've got more things on Saturday, on Friday. There's all sorts of things. And also, I didn't mention earlier, El Camino College has a special event coming up on Saturday, and we have the link in the flip book. If you look at the back of the conference flip book, we have all the different links to everything coming up. So, and I have somebody in the chat who said, if I'm coming a little bit late to the session, will I still get a conference certificate? Absolutely. Everybody can get a conference certificate, but we anticipate that if you have an employer or a professor that asks you for specifically how many hours you went to the conference, we always anticipate that you're going to be honest, because being ethical is part of being an educator. We have an ethical code. And so we'll have a check for that by all means. I also see what times tomorrow. We have got sessions like, let's see, starting at, I believe, 9 a.m. And tomorrow we go pretty much solid until 7 p.m. And so I'll put those in the chat right now. Leah, we have all of our names in the raffle. Oh, Ada, I see you have your hand up. What's your question, my friend?
Hi, I just joined you. It didn't allow me before because it said 100 participate, and it's
yes, we've known we had a glitch the entire time, Ada. I'm so sorry about that. I actually paid extra to be able to have 300 people on today, so I'm not sure what happened with my Zoom account. So I'm so sorry about that, my friend. Please know we're going to send the recording of the whole hour and a half out as soon as we have it downloaded, because we realized that we had a major tech glitch there. So I'm so sorry about that. We're going to try and hopefully that won't happen again during the conference.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so glad that you persevered and you kept trying to log in, because those of you that logged in, I know it. You were hustling, and I so appreciate it, my friend. And I'm so sorry that happened though too. Those tech glitches are the last thing. I was paying $50 extra a month thinking that I did that so it wouldn't happen. So I'm so sorry, but we'll work on fixing it for the rest of the sessions this week. So Leah, are we ready? If anybody else who, oh yes. Anybody else who needs to put their name into the drawing?
So do I have to fill out the survey?
David, we won't
have to fill it out.
The survey for the raffle tonight, yes. And so I put it in the chat a couple times. That's how we have your name and your address and the information to mail you the gift cards. Because we've got a couple gift cards that we are giving away this evening.
So far we have 86 people on the list. So maybe there were some people who didn't do the form yet.
Yeah, I joined late since due to the glitch, it was saying 100.
Yes.
Are already there. So is it in the chat? The survey that we should do?
Yes, and the survey is basically just asking for your name and your email, so that way we can put you in the opportunity drawing. Whoops, let me see if I can get this.
Yeah, I went ahead and entered the link again.
Yeah, I saw. Thank you, Martina. Thank you. And one question, where we could access the recording of the session?
I will put that in the chat in just a minute, but please know that it will take us some time to download it and then upload it. So it's not like it happens automatically, but hopefully before like the night's done, hopefully we can have it up. The moment we wrap tonight, I will absolutely be working on getting it up and getting the link out to everybody as soon as possible. Promise.
Okay. So would it be emailed to us?
Yes, it will be emailed to everybody.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, due to technical issues.
I already filled out my email. I filled that survey out. So do I have to stay in?
You do, because you need to be present to win. We're only going to be on a few more minutes. And as soon as we are done talking, we will go straight into the opportunity drawing. So it'll just be a few more minutes. I do see Carrie has a question though. So let's go to Carrie and then we'll go to the drawing.
Okay, so I was looking for the thing for Saturday, the event, and I noticed it didn't say what the time for it. And so I was just wondering of like what the time would be, because I know we have something to do like in the morning.
Yadira, would you, oh, you know what is,
I didn't see
Yadira, did you just put that in the chat?
Yeah, and I was, it seems like, did I miss it or something? I'm like,
you did not. I'm actually, let's have Yadira mention it, because Yadira is one of the people leading that.
Okay. No.
What happened? I'm sorry, my internet went in and out.
That's okay. Can you just share the time of the best event on Saturday?
Yes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the flyer in the chat box right now. Let me open it up. Actually, our coordinator Janice Jeffres and Professor Cervantes from El Camino College are the coordinators for this phenomenal event. They work really hard along with the Child Development Club and the Future Teachers Club. Let me find it, guys, and I'm gonna be uploading it right now. I think there was, let me pull it up. I'm gonna have to go into my email. Give me 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Yadira. I also see we have a question in the chat. So I was looking for the event for yesterday and was wondering if we need to attempt every single one, or do you just join the ones that you want? This is a choose your own conference. You go to whatever you are interested in. There is no obligation. You don't have to go to any certain number. It's literally what is most relevant for you. And, you know, we want you to be able to go to what works for you with your schedule too. So please, tomorrow and Wednesday, you do what works for you. We try our best to record everything, but please know there is a session that is from CalSTRS, and it's on your financial future. If by any chance you can attend that live, please do so, because that is the one session, since they're a government agency, they are not able to record it and post it. That is the only session that will only be available live. And when you receive your, or actually in the conference booklet, we have it noted there. And when you get your schedule with all the Zoom links, it also is listed there as well. Thank you so much, Brenda. I appreciate it very much. Teresa, I will see if we can do Facebook Live. I can't promise, but because we have to try and troubleshoot tonight. So I will see what we can do though. Thank you so much. Okay, so Leah, I'm gonna go ahead and hand the screen over to you right now. And we have, Leah, do you want to tell them what's up first for our opportunity prize this evening?
All right, so right now we have 98, I think. I tried to eliminate the duplicates, but we may have some duplicates in there. So, all right, so can you see it? Can you see the slide?
Yes, thank you so much.
Go ahead, Renee.
Okay, so we have our official opportunity drawing. Our first item, please go to the next slide, is a $15 gift card to Subway, so you can eat fresh and have some lunch on Teach for LA. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see who we get. I'm really loud. Wasn't that loud?
Love it.
Okay, let's see.
It's Mario.
Juana Hario, are you on right now? Because you do need to be present to win.
Yes, I am here.
Yay! I hope you like to eat fresh, my friend, because I'm going to drop this in the mail tomorrow morning, okay? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're
Absolutely.
welcome. I'm going to write it down just in case.
David, you know we've seen Wheel of Fortune. We love Wheel of Fortune. When Leah found this wheel, it was like all of us got so excited. And I have to tell you, this is a free app that you can get. And so if you're in a classroom working with students and you want to bring something lively, grab the Wheel of Names. It's a great resource that you can do all sorts of different activities with. Okay, so what do we have next? We have got 2 movie tickets, and this is coming from our colleagues at Cerritos College. They are providing these movie tickets. Okay, I'm writing my post-it right now. Let's see who we got. Drum roll, please. You can tell I taught kinder a long time.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's see. Claudia Avilar. Claudia, are you on right now?
Yes, I am.
Yay! Congratulations, Claudia!
Congratulations.
I hope everybody likes the wheel. I love the wheel. I think it's fun to do. So, okay, next we've got some coffee. We've got a $15 Starbucks card. Again, donated from the wonderful professionals in the Los Angeles region, both our professors and our teacher prep leads. Who were kind enough to want to support Teach for LA. So who do we have as the winner on this one, Leah?
Let's see. Here we go.
The Wheel of Names. We need like a Wheel of Names song, Yadira. Wheel of Names.
We need music, right?
Totally. Maybe Kim Barker can make it. Who do we have? Gabriela Rodriguez. Gabriela, are you on right now?
Yes, I am here.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I have to tell everybody something also. If you come to our session on Wednesday night and you won tonight and you still want to go into the drawing on Wednesday, guess what? You're allowed to. So I'm just saying that because at our last Teach for LA, we had somebody who won in 2 different drawings and they got both their prizes. So just want to let everybody know, do not worry if you don't get some tonight. You've got an even bigger chance on Wednesday night at our closing session. Okay, Leah, what do we have next? Oh, Jeremy, I thought that was you. Jeremy, and I have to say, Jeremy Ramos, you were the first person to register to Teach for LA.
Oh, Barnes and Nobles.
I love Barnes and Noble. Now, FYI, just so everybody knows this, when you're an educator, you get a discount at Barnes and Noble, and it is a shock how much you get. And I'm just going to throw it out there. Every once in a while, they'll do a special blurb where they give you 25% off, and they even let you use it on like Lego and games and all sorts of stuff. So Barnes and Noble, $20. Who do we have, Leah? Who's the winner?
Here we go. Here's our next winner. Oh, Juliana.
Oh, okay. Now this is interesting. Oh, wait, Juliana hasn't won yet, right?
Nope. I've been this close. I've been this close every single time.
Juliana.
It was the night.
Congratulations.
I love it. Air horn, air horn. Okay, I also am thinking too, you guys, I'm going to be honest. I probably have like 25 emails from people who tried to get in tonight and they couldn't. What do you think if I just did a drawing for them too? I'm not going to take it from this opportunity drawing. We'll still do the 5 cards tonight. But what if I just go buy an extra card? Those people who emailed me would just do it. Like that would be legit, right? Like that's what you do.
Exactly, because it's totally.
Nobody's going to feel like they missed out, right? They can get the recording. We'll do an extra.
It's not their fault that they couldn't get in because of the max capacity. So
totally. And I want to make sure, Carrie, that nobody gets like penalized for that. You know what I mean? So, okay. So then we'll do another opportunity drawing with the names of everybody who emails me who didn't get in tonight, those who I hear from. How about by like 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? Then I'll do an opportunity drawing. Okay. So if you have any friends or colleagues who couldn't get in, please let them know. And we'll do that. Okay, now this is our last one for tonight, but do not worry. We've got at least another 11 drawings happening on Wednesday and possibly even more. This one's Target. Also, I did everything totally practical. I hope everybody's okay with this. I went for 100% practical. $25 at Target. They've got great stuff for your classroom in the dollar spot, but they also have practical things that you might need like groceries, clothes, you know what? So just use it for what you need it for.
Renee, and then I want to make sure that we say it correctly because I know everybody in the chat and they saw it and that's how we call it. Target.
Oh, Target.
That's how I call it too.
Target, yes.
I call it Target too. That's what
Target is the best. Okay, let's see who we've got for the Target gift card. Oh my goodness, Suzanne is entering right now. She's so hardcore. I love this. Hi, Suzanne. Yay! Okay, let's see. Who do we have? Teresa! Teresa, you're still on, right?
I'm still here.
Yay!
Excellent. Teresa Razzo is here. You know what? I want to give a shout out too. We just had Suzanne Edwards join us. She's been trying to get in tonight. She is leading the session. She's one of the people leading the session tomorrow on the CPTP program. What is it? And can I find out more about it? Check out Suzanne. She's a director of equity and she's a friend and she's awesome. And she's going to be presenting tomorrow. Suzanne, I can't even believe, sorry we had the 100 glitch here, but thanks for still joining us. We appreciate you. Awesome. So with that, everybody, we are at 7 o'clock. I am thrilled that we had a great kickoff for Teach for LA. Thank you so much. If you have, for you being here tonight, do not worry. What I'm going to do, I see in the chat, we had somebody said, do I need to do my certificate right now? No, I will send the certificate request along with the survey on Wednesday. Anybody who wants a certificate absolutely can get one. If there was anyone who did not receive emails from me, that means that your email was entered incorrectly into Eventbrite. So if you did not receive multiple emails from me this past weekend and today, please shoot me an email this evening and I will make sure that we have your, we've got your email correct. on our system. So with that, Leah, I want to hand it over to you and Yadira. Is there anything else we need to say?
We just want to thank you for being here, guys. It's great to see all of you. See you next time.
Same.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Can I be in my pajamas for the meeting or no?
Absolutely. I say
Thank
yes
you,
to
everybody.
pajamas.
See you in the morning. Please
Yeah, I
feel
think
free to
so,
come
but-
comfortable.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye.
night, everybody.
So
Welcome to Teach for LA.
So tomorrow's session would be 9 a.m.
The
Yeah.
first one starts at
15.
9, and you can jump in anytime you want tomorrow to any of the sessions that interest you.
Okay, and each session duration is 2 hours? Like to know when.
9 o'clock session is just 1 hour tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you
wonderful.
so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great Teach for LA.
Bye.
I have a question.